Hey everyone, it's Time Spiraled. I'm back with another video today for our Yu-Gi-Oh content here, doing something also a little different than just recording the matches. I figured it would be interesting to go through the sets themselves, and I originally wasn't going to because everybody out there has definitely already heard enough about Legend of Blue Eyes and all these early sets from lots of people who have done the progression series. But as someone who's completely new to Yu-Gi-Oh, I figure it might be interesting for me to say what I think is good in each set after, reading the cards and going through. And then I'm doing this live on my one of my discords I'm in, and people might drop in, drop out, make comments, tell me that I'm completely wrong, tell me that I missed stuff. And worst case, it's a tool for me and the two other players in my progression league. And worst case, it's just a good way to fill a 30-40 minute gap here in the evening. So, without further ado, Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon. What I'm actually going to do, I know it says the rares up here, but I like starting with the commons because that goes by fast, and then I'll work my way back up to the top. So, by my understanding, and again, I know we have some people here in chat who can definitely correct me and tell me that I'm completely 100% wrong. These field spells are not so good. The fact that it's all monsters on the field, 200 attack and defense seems like just a really small amount, and it did matter a little bit in some of our early matches, but it feels like this is the kind of card that's just going to fall off like insanely fast. Um, it just feels like they don't do
Yeah,
enough. Is that
two
right?
hundred isn't really a lot, basically.
All right. Well, okay. I'm glad that at least I've got that right. I love the art on them though. Like it's really gorgeous and I really hope that the idea for them came from Magic's basic lands cuz that's really the vibe that they're giving me. Forest, mountain, plains, island, I guess swamp for either of these, but it really gives me basic land vibe. So I wonder if when they designed the Yu-Gi-Oh set that's what they had in mind. This did matter though. This Yami did some work today. But yeah, these all seem like they're gonna fall off, and we're probably not gonna be seeing them much, even as soon as like next episode or the one after, because our beaters are already going to be at 1800 and more. So I don't expect these to stick around. Looking at like the first couple of big vanillas, like literally almost everything in these first three rows, I think the only one that I care about is Green Phantom King. It came up a few times in our match because it's got a 16,000 defense and that actually can curb stomp or not curb stomp, but it blocks the Urabies and Skull Redbirds of episode one. So that's the one that I was hoping to pull, but I didn't get any of these. I have some 2000 defenders, but unless there's like a secret thing that will come up later where some of these cards become relevant, I think like we're gonna say goodbye to all of these, and they've never been relevant in episode one, and they'll never be relevant. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically vanillas mostly don't matter unless there are things that care about vanillas.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that things cared about vanilla, so I'll keep an eye out for cards that do. I guess it would say normal monsters, right? Is the
Yeah,
terminology?
normal.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, but I mean, I we're gonna get normal monsters that are just way better than these, so I don't think any of these are ever gonna make their way into my decks. And I think even in the next
yeah,
three rows, like I am one Crimpy played Mammoth Graveyards, but I wasn't on it. And like looking at all the other ones, like they're adorable. Like I think these are very cute, but I don't think any of them are gonna see play. Even for
yeah.
fusions, I think.
Yeah, sorry, it's just worth noting that with Yu-Gi-Oh specifically, small normal monsters are very, very bad just because of the fact that any larger monster can just completely stonewall them entirely.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. So these are
Like
cool. They're like essentially
Yu-Gi-Oh!
they're art cards. They're art cards from Magic. They're not gonna do anything. They're gonna hang around and just make my collection thicker without actually giving me anything to work with. Um, okay, the last bottom rows of the commons. There's cards that I'll see play. I think it shouldn't be a surprise. I've watched Progression Series, but again, not having played it, I knew already going in, and we had discussed with my friends before we opened the packs that Skull Red Bird is the biggest beater at 4 stars in Legend of Blue Eyes with 1550, with Urabi coming up right behind it with 1500. We saw Witty Phantom see play with 1400. One of my friends brought in Steel Ogre Grotto as an 18,000 defender for 5, and I brought in a Spike Seadra as a 16,000 for 5 just because I felt like I needed one more thing that could like push some damage through. And I ended up running a bunch of Trial of Nightmares and Witty Phantoms because they were fiends. And I was hoping that because my one of my opponents I knew pulled Dark Magician and a bunch of fiends, I was assuming they might play Yami, so I would get some value off of that. But I think the rest don't look particularly playable either, and I'm sure out of the ones I named, I'm sure no one's really like, oh yeah, Steel Ogre Grotto, let's go. So yeah,
And
just
worth
I
noting that, yeah, I think one of the things I recognise immediately is Skull Servant, which might become relevant later on.
which one?
Since Skull
Oh,
Servant,
okay. Okay, you know what? That's true, and I know that there's a Skull Servant deck that happens, but that's not for a
yeah,
really long time,
no,
right?
uh,
Okay, so you know what that means we're gonna have to do? We're gonna check my collection real quick and see if I actually have any of them. I'm assuming there's a chance that I can pull more if that card becomes relevant, but let's just go on down. Ignore the SS. I don't have any. Oh no,
oh, you
that's
do have a
true.
Sangam,
I
interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk about Sangan. I have no
Yeah,
Skull Servants. Okay, well that's not gonna help me out. Okay, now I want to hear your opinion because I think what we ultimately decided was that these were not worth it, but I really didn't feel like filling up my deck with more like 1,300 attackers was going to work. I put in a few copies of Hinotama and Final Flame, I think is
yeah.
the rare one. I put in 2 red medicines just to fill out the thing, just to have
Yeah.
things to play. Is it true that this is just not worth it? Like, you don't really do this?
Um, yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Like Sparks looked
Uh,
horrible because that was 200.
Sparks is, I think, one of the worst cards in the game, like
It's
total.
it's got to be
Like other than
horrendous.
cards that directly hinder yourself, it is
Oh,
pretty much
those are
blatantly
hilarious to
one of the
read.
worst cards.
Those are hilarious to read though. I did run my copies of Remove Trap though because one of our players had Trap Hole, and I figured this is the only way I have of hitting it off early, but it didn't come up. But
Yeah,
Remove
that makes
Trap
sense.
seemed okay to play. But okay, I don't think you're going to
Yeah,
see Hinotamas in
should
either of our
mention that
decks. So
very early Yu-Gi-Oh meta is just basically largest normal monsters there are,
yeah, actually,
and pump spells and flat removal is just pretty much all that.
give me a second. There might be Grishnax might be joining us.
Cool. Not sure if there were many pump spells in LOB though.
But you know what? And this just seems really funny. You might correct me, but actually putting in remove trap was useless because doesn't this say select one face up trap card, and that won't work on
Yeah,
a trap hole. And this is not like a quick or anything, right? So this actually was worse than something, right?
yeah,
Oh no. Okay, I misread the
yeah.
card. I thought it was just like hit a card if it's a trap, destroy it. So actually, this doesn't do anything. Is there a single trap in the entire set that it works on? No. Does remove trap actually have no targets in Legend of Blue Eyes? Because it won't hit a trap hole and it can't hit a two-pronged attack. Um, what's it for? Are we missing cards in this? Is there? Oh, I'm sorry. It can hit Dragon Capture Jar.
Uh,
It hits. It's is that really
Very
what it's for?
handy when you're playing a lot of dragons.
So I have three dragon capture jars, but none of my opponents were running dragons, and I'm the one who pulled. I pulled Curse of Dragon, and I was like, well, that's gonna be
Yeah,
useless. Okay, so that was the commons. So it looks so far like I'm spot on. Well, spot on. I'm correct for most parts in knowing that the bigger attackers were good. All this is probably useless, but I really felt like deck filler was going to be better. But honestly, maybe just getting more defense creatures and just playing them because I definitely ran out of I keep saying creatures, and I've been saying that in my
yeah,
video too. Monsters. I got to use the right Yu-Gi-Oh terms. More monsters, just blocking would have probably been better. So lesson learned there.
yeah.
We're gonna go all the way
It
back
is
up to
worth
rare.
noting that once you get more removal and you're still in the very early days, just higher level monsters are just
Mm-hmm.
not at all worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the Spike Seadra didn't feel good because I was trading like a 2000 defender for a 1600, and I'm never gonna have to do that again because I've already got like seven colored fish and stuff. So
Yeah,
um, I those really feel like that was just a day one. I need something to get over a vanilla skull redbird, and that's one of the only ways I
yeah,
had. So okay, let's look at the rare cards. Dragon Capture Jar seems very situational. We're going to be playing best of one. We're not playing with sideboards, and it's really just going to be me having to look at my opponent's pools. And if ever I think they're going deep on a dragon deck, it could do something. But I also don't think it's that good anyway. It's not removal. Dragons just get
yeah,
flipped to defense position, but if they have high enough defense, I'm not getting through them anyway. So this just does not feel like ever gonna be a meta call. So I think they're
yeah.
just gonna
That's
sit in
about
my.
accurate.
Okay, good. They're just gonna sit in my thing. Here, let's see if I can put your volume up just a little bit more. And now, okay, Arm Ninja and Hane Hane, and I don't know if it's Hane Hane or Hane Hane. No one's corrected me yet, but it's one or the other. Hane Hane, Hane
Yeah.
Hane. What do we say?
Um, for the very early days, actually not that bad. It's basically removal.
It felt really good. My friend was running. He pulled four, so he ran all
Yeah,
three, and I'm like, that feels correct because it's one of the few flips that even though it's a bounce, if it hits a tribute card, you've gotten a lot of mileage out of it. And worst case,
yeah,
you're putting them back on one summon. Like it felt really good. Like obviously it dies to anything that attacks it, but
yeah.
um, I'm sure
You
I'm gonna.
basically just trade one turn for another turn. Yeah,
Yeah, or hopefully more, obviously. Like I was actually really
yeah,
worried about it because and obviously the deck that I built was bad, but my pool was really bad. I was going for like a few equip spells, and those equip spells, they go to the graveyard if the monster is returned to my hand, correct?
yeah.
So that could have yeah, that could have 3-for-1 me. So if you haven't watched the match, but I think you said you did or you might have watched part of it, I was
I
checking every face
yeah,
down card before playing my Urabi and double raise body heat because I had to make sure there wasn't a Hane sitting around because then I was going to absolutely lose that match. So,
uh,
Arm Ninja seems all right. I mean, it only hits spell cards, but it can hit them when they're set. And it feels like there's more set spells than there are traps right now. So, like, this still feels okay to be running, but it doesn't feel as
yeah,
good as Hane, I guess.
yeah.
Um,
I still don't think Arm Ninja is that good since a lot of spell cards, removal spell cards, you can just play them out on the turn. I think.
okay. Um, I was reading, and I could be wrong. Quick play spell cards. You can play them from the hand if it's your turn, but they have to be set to be used on an opponent's turn. Correct?
Yep,
I
pretty much.
think so. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So quick play spells. If they are set, you can no longer activate them that turn.
Okay. That turn. Okay, but you can use them on your opponents. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Once they are set, they are functionally traps.
Okay. Thanks. I really appreciate that because so Arm Ninja could do something against some of those if But I mean, it felt better than anything like that we were setting that wasn't like a 2K defender. So like I ran the ones that I had.
Arm Ninja is one of the few outs to fucking what's it called? Source of Revealing Light.
Yeah, thankfully, no players in my pool have one, so we didn't need to worry about that. It also means that none of us are probably playing Clown Control next episode, so I don't have to worry about that. All right, next cards. I want to get through some of these because I know I don't want to spend too long on just Legend of Blue Eyes. So Reaper of the Cards was played this time. I don't think we're going to see it much more. It's a tribute and it's got a flip and it only hits traps and it's got the ugliest attack and defense stats I've ever seen. Um,
I've seen uglier, very uglier Yu-Gi-Oh effects than stats.
oh no, I didn't want to know that. um,
Good news, they're all bad.
Okay, cool. So I won't have to worry. Going on to the fusions. So this is me already kind of knowing just from progression. I wouldn't obviously be able to say which necessarily, but I know that paired with magical scientist, you start using some of these to pull multiples, and then you can like synchro or XC summon with them. Like there's stuff you can do with having a bunch of fusions lying around, but for the purpose of am I actually going to use polymerization to get any of these, I'm pretty sure the answer is just no. Like these are all atrocious
Fusions
attack.
are bad for the same reason why tribute summons are bad in early LOB. In
You're
early
three
Yu-Gi-Oh.
for wanting yourself every time your shit gets removed. Like
Yeah. What do you mean you don't want to free for one yourself for 900 attack, 700 defense monster?
Like, there's just so much good removal in the format. Fissures,
so
Dark Raigekis.
there is, but like I said, because we're doing a progression series, I have to also think of it from the point of view of what do we have access to. And there are literally just two fissures around. I don't have one, but both of my opponents have one. No one's got a wipe. We don't have Raigeki. We don't have Dark Hole. We don't have swords. We have none of those. So,
Not
um,
even Trap Hole.
which one?
Trap Hole. Trap
There's
Hole is
one
not
trap
common
hole.
feature.
My opponent, one of my Zphil has one trap hole. So it's very low on the remove. Like there's a few others, and we'll talk about it when we get to Metal Raiders. But at least for Legend of Blue Eyes, we knew that removal was going to be limited. I don't have to talk much about Aquamador, Giant Soldier, and Spirit. They're the 2K defenders of the first set. I expect them to stick around a few, I guess maybe one episode more or two, just because they're one of the only ways to like actually get up to two monsters on the field without just losing everything. Um,
Uh,
so
Nobody likes the early Yu-Gi-Oh formats.
I'm
Like,
loving it,
that's
but like again, I've been dying to finally start a progression series, and I know how shitty this set is, and like everyone obviously says this is a shitty set, but like as a custom Magic designer, as a player, like everything, it's like I don't know how to say it. It's like actually torturously fun how bad the early cards some were, how insane some of these cards were, especially because it came out years after Alpha like had already learned its lessons. So it's just funny that this still exists. But like I had a lot of fun today. Like we were thinking on like such vanilla levels of I only like we were at numbers. We were thinking there's 2K defenders. How do I get to 21K without like it was just so much fun. So, you know, these guys were a big help for me today. I was running my two copies of Final Flame because I had nothing really better in my deck. I'm obviously not going to be running them anymore. I wish I had Fisher. Obviously, I don't think this card needs any explanation. It's fantastic. I think my opponent is running one Goblin Secret Remedy in their deck. I don't assume that's going to ever come back. That's like equally not good. I
I've
love.
thought about doing a progression of my own, but starting at Duelist Genesis, which is the beginning of Synchro era,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
or
yeah.
using Dark Beginnings or Dark Revolutions, which is like the
Yeah,
retro.
a few people recommended like even starting as far as like the GX era, but we're doing it with friends, like local friends, and they were really down to just start at the very beginning. So, oh, and like as a heads up, in case you didn't see the post in general, I am recording this. This is for a YouTube video, so
Good to know.
just letting you know before anybody else said anything. As you come in, I'll remind people that that we're doing this is like for a recording, but like it's public. People can come in, give comments, tell me that I'm completely wrong. My friend ran one Gravedigger Ghoul because one of my friends has Monster Reborn.
Ooh,
But my one of my friends had Monster Reborn. I get why, but my issue is I don't think there'd be a turn where the opponent leaves something in their graveyard
Even
and doesn't
in that
immediately,
case,
you know,
Monster Reborn can hit
exactly.
your graveyard, and you
I
can't
know.
hit
So
both.
this didn't feel correct, but I mean, I get why he did it, and it's like bringing in graveyard removal, like in Magic, but it's just not the same math. So I didn't run mine. Pot of Greed is insane. Everybody knows. None of us pulled one, so nobody has a Pot of Greed, so we didn't have to worry about banning that. We all had a bunch of stop defenses. These still feel good at this stage because turning the 2K defenders into 1200 attackers is one of the better ways of getting through them and dealing damage, I find. I'm assuming eventually this is going to become useless. We're going to start resorting to more just destroy directly the opponent, but I will still be running mine for a while because I pulled no removal. So
I
I
actually
expect,
find LOB format a bit more balanced under the Junior Journey rule set, where
yeah.
you don't have to tribute summon the big guys.
Well, we're using MD Pro 3, so we kind of have to follow the rules of how things actually play for what we're doing. I've got two pronged attacks. They feel horrible to use, but it's my only removal. So if I can stick a 2K defender and then get rid of it and one of my other things, I get to destroy opponents' monsters. I think, like, obviously it still sucks, but it'll feel better in the next episode because I pulled Sangan and Witch of the Black Forest, so at least I get some value off, but it still doesn't feel great. Okay, that's the rares. Correct me if I'm wrong. The next one after is super. No, yes, super, right, and then ultra. Correct.
Yeah,
Okay,
super,
did I
then ultra,
miss did
then
I miss
super.
any short print? No. Okay. So, I don't know how short print really factored in. Like I feel like we pulled a bunch of these are short print commons, right? Anyway, I know they go in their own separate slot on the way it's pulled, but we pulled a bunch of these. I think they're all useless, right? They increase by 300. I'm sure there's going to be maybe one. There's one creature I know that cares about having a bunch of equips on it, but
Yeah,
I think for the most
I think
part,
that's from Metal Raiders.
I don't know if we pulled one, but it's or maybe Magic Ruler. But anyway, it's I don't think these are great. I use Raised Body Heat because it was my only way to get something big, but I don't expect to be playing like much more. And I absolutely love that there's things like this card is not treated as a crystal card on some of them because crystal then began. I love that Yu-Gi-Oh has to do this.
Crystal Bees!
I love it.
Shout out to Frog the Jam.
Yeah, Frog the Jam is
Erotic
amazing.
to
I love
Slime
it.
Toad, Rip,
I
my boy.
I love it. Okay, so super rares. Most real quick, we started the prog series with everybody getting 3 copies of polymerization, just so that if we chose to, we could use our extra deck and we didn't have to rely on having pulled 3. So we have them. I don't think I'll be using it next episode for a while, but we have them. I've got Curse of Dragon. I ran it because it's a 2K attacker and I don't really have a better option. I pulled 2 Mystical Elf, which makes me really sad because eventually I'll stop running 2K defenders, and I really wish it was like a Dark Hole or a Raigeki or anything else than 2 copies of Mystical Elf. Maneater Bug is great. I know this. It's just flip destroy. Like it's fantastic. It's just like a better Hain Hain. Flame Swordsman seems bad. Celtic Guardian seems bad. From what I understand, it eventually becomes an archetype. I don't know if that makes the original Celtic Guardian any good. It seems really bad
Nope.
for a super rare. And then obviously Dark Hole is insane. Raigeki is even more insane. Trap Hole is fantastic, and Swords of Revealing Light is doesn't need an introduction. It's just absolutely wild. The only cards out of all of this that I have to care about in the whole prog, someone has a Maneater Bug and one player has a Trap Hole. But we didn't pull anything else. So I don't have to worry about Dark Hole. I don't have to worry about Raigeki. And there's no swords that people have to be like playing around and just being like stonewalled and clown controlled. So none of that is going on. So we can go back up. I think to Ultra is next, and then I think Secret is last. We pulled virtually nothing in this. One player was really lucky and pulled Dark Magician and Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn was the first card banned after episode 1, so that's already gone. We don't have to deal with Monster Reborn more than one episode. Someone has a Gaia the Fierce Knight. I mean, congrats. You have these are like the two tributes. I don't expect them to see like I expect they might still see play just because they're big, but they're not great. And nobody pulled any Exodia pieces, so we can't play the Grandpa deck. So That's that. No red eyes, no blue eyes, so none of that made it into the prog. But like obviously, if they did, like I would run blue eyes if I had blue eyes, because obviously it's huge, and like I'd rather one of my 2Ks and whatever junk monster I had turn into this. But we'll see. And then finally, I somebody pulled a Gaia the Dragon Champion, but did not pull the fierce, but did not pull Curse of Dragon, so does not have access to this. And nobody pulled Trihorned. So I think I'm safe in saying, and I think like I know this just by having like seen a lot of progs with this set because so many people like use it. Um, oh, Lyco might join us. Let's see. Um, we'll see if he joins us. So I'm correct in saying Legend of Blue Eyes is just a bunch of vanillas with some really cracked high rarity spells, and we got really lucky that nobody pulled any really high quantity of them. So that's really not going to affect our progression much. So does that sound like? I mean, obviously, I've been told like these get relevant when you get the scientist, but that's it, right?
Magical scientist and to a lesser extent instant fusion.
Ah,
Although
yes,
the
yes,
instant
instant
fusion
fusion.
applicability doesn't really hit until you get into either the synchro or Xyz era.
Okay, well, that'll take a while. So we're still at the vanilla stuff. So okay, going on to Metal Raiders, we opened the packs of this today, and the reason why I'm combining this into one video, like with all three, is that normally I will just do the video on the next set that we're going to do, but because we already opened two, it felt correct to kind of like test my knowledge here. So, commons again, it looks like it's a lot of the same except for the effect. So, this is where we had to actually start reading some of the cards. Most of these seem
Hitting
super
on Jiraigumo
situational.
is just really you just sit on Jiraigumo. You just play him and then you don't attack.
Yeah, yeah,
That's part
we
of the
had
fun.
a bunch. There's a bunch of Jiraigumos in the pool. I don't remember exactly how many I pulled, but I can check real quick. Um,
Big bungus.
I've got two. One of Z Phil pulled seven. Not that he can play seven, but he's got seven in the pool. So yeah, Blast Jugglers seemed bad. But like, is it maybe good? Like,
No.
because it says standby, you can't defend it. It tributes itself, and they have to be face up. They have to have attack 1,000 or less, but that never happens. So this seemed really bad. Um, Lizard seems very situational. I'd rather just have a 2K defender than this. I think Insects is too situational. Larva is too like a lot of these. The word I was thinking while we were opening them and reading them was this seems too niche. Like I don't think we're gonna get to the point where I can use them. Jirai Gumo seemed insane because it's a 2,200 attacker. I'm doing like air quotes here, but you just park it. It doesn't let anything through. And then if you really have to, you can use it to finish off 2K defenders. Like it looked okay. The battle guards didn't seem worth it. I guess Bistro Butcher is kind of like if you didn't pull enough if you didn't pull enough seven colored fish, here's another 1,800, but you don't want to give your opponent two cards. So like most of the rest seemed like really eh. So unless there's one that I'm missing here, like I recognize Swamp and Lava and like Larva Moth from like the episodes, like the Yu-Gi-Oh series, but I don't think they're really good. Germ Infection and Paralyzing Potion seemed playable as of episode 2 because they're some of the only ways we have of like stopping something from being a problem for a while and then maybe eventually getting it small enough. But they seem still very situational, so I assume like past the next episode, I really don't want to be on like a playset of Paralyzing Potions. But
Honestly, they're not the most embarrassing thing to play early on.
so I should feel okay for putting them in my deck list.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not good. Like they're gonna get outclassed by stuff eventually, but
I
like
I will run
paralyzing
them.
potion is something that lets you deal with big threats until you can find a way to actually
Yeah.
deal with them. Think of it kind of like pacifism from Magic.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. But the one issue with pacifisms, as we all know, is it doesn't stop their effects, and like obviously at one point that's just gonna be like I
Yeah,
have to worry about more than just the
It's
attack.
pacifism, but they can still block.
Yeah. Ring didn't seem good at all. If someone figures out a combo with it, I guess it's cute. But the fact that it makes your thing 500 weaker, so your opponent will get through it, I don't know. I don't know. It didn't seem good. And okay, this is where I'm testing my knowledge of how it would work in Magic. This card is actually bad and a trap because it's not a May. If so, you keep playing this thing, it will just deck lock you into drawing this sword again and again, right?
Yes, it is a mandatory effect.
Yeah.
It is a
So,
mandatory effect. That is correct. I would still play it.
oh my gosh, it like isn't there like a better version which is like Malevolent Nuzzler or something that goes back to your hand?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
I would
So
still consider playing this early on. This is something I would ditch before Paralyzing Potion, though.
oh, okay. Well, I think I have one at least. Like I get the good part, like if I need to get ahead or get on top of something, 500 attack or defense can go a long way, but it just feels so bad if it like I get cleared and I don't have another monster and I know that the next thing I'm drawing is just sort of deep-seated. I'm sort of in deep trouble, right? So, there you go. Big Eye looked okay. It's not great, but like there's worse flip effects. I don't think I'm excited to play it, but it's not the worst flip. At least the flip effect isn't like put your hand on the bottom of your deck like one of these cards is. Is it you? No, there's one. No, this is the shuffle one. But there is one that's literally just put your hand on the bottom of your deck, and I was laughing at how bad that was. Oh, there it is. When it changes from attack to defense, you put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck. I just love it. Anyway, it seems useless. Castle of Dark Illusion seems too slow. It is a 1930 defender, but I don't think I'm playing a zombie deck. I guess you keep an eye on it. I don't know. Is this good? It looks bad to me.
I think
Not
it's pretty
great.
bad.
Okay.
It's not the worst. The defense line is okay, but you'd rather. But there's too many 2K defenders for it to matter.
And isn't this from the episode where there's like a Castle of Dark
Okay.
Illusion and the guy breaks the moon, right? And it breaks the
No,
barrier that's keeping the castle floating?
so
Is this
Yugi attacks the castle's flotation ring, and
ring?
because it's under Swords of Revealing Light, the monsters can't escape.
Oh my
So that
god.
was from
That was
season one,
yeah,
Duelist Kingdom.
that's when I was
And
watching it. So
yeah, that's like D&D rules where like if you can like justify it to your opponent, then it happens.
it's like
The
when my
rules of Yu-Gi-Oh didn't properly exist until Battle Kingdom.
okay, well, it reminds me of like early Magic where people were like, you can't equip this sword to your wolf because it doesn't make sense. And I was like, I don't think the rules work like that. Dragon Piper seems bad because Dragon Capture Jar is already bad. So why are you teching against Dragon Capture Jar? I guess it's an 1800 defender, but everything else just is hilarious.
Oh yeah, this shit reminds me of like those
It's the
weird
whole.
trap cards that only specifically counter one card, like White
It's
Hole for Dark Hole,
yeah.
or
It makes me
Griffin
think
for
of like
Berserker for Harpies, whatever those are.
what's the card in Magic that's like destroy cards from homelands. Like it's so. Anyway, lovably niche. It's a cool art. I'm not playing it. Immortal of Thunder. And okay, we were arguing this with my friends. So it's flip, increase your life points by 3,000. When it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you lose 5,000. Are these
You can
separate?
make this card lose timing, but it's very hard to do in this early on, and also not worth it.
No, my question was, are they separate abilities in the sense that if I can somehow donate this to opponent and kill it, they'll lose 5,000 or no? It's conditional on the flip having increased my life by 3,000. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I don't know if there is even a donate card in Yu-Gi-Oh. It was just a funny idea of like, is there a way I can, like I know there's kaiju's eventually that do stuff like this, but like, is there a way to give this to your opponent? You kill it because it's only got 15 or 13, and they lose 5K? I don't think so.
There are ways to give monsters to your opponent, but not this early on.
Yeah,
Like you
okay.
could
Well,
DNA the transversor
we'll keep
eventually,
that
but
in mind.
yeah.
Okay, another suite of rare fusions. We're not playing any of them. I love how Bikuri Box literally just says, get rid of your clown control deck and play this creature instead. Like, I don't think that's good. And like Musician King is also hilarious. Like, turn your Witch of the Black Forest into a guitar player. But no, anyway. I'm half
The only
tempted
thing
to
worth
run Skull
noting
Knight.
about these ones is the level 5 or lower ones that can be summoned off of instant fusion later.
Okay.
So Deep Sea Shark, Cybersaurus, Magician King.
Okay. Okay, so instant fusion is okay, so I'll remember that. So okay, so
Yeah.
some of them can be okay. Okay, I'll remember that then. The five ones, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still in the commons. I said rares, but no, this is still the common. Okay, well, we're at vanillas. I can scoot over most of this. Obviously, seven colored fish is the big one, 1800. Armored zombie is a 1500 zombie for whatever that matters. Blue Wing Crown is the 1600 one. Um, my friend pulled three Harpy Ladies and three Elegant Egotists, and I was trying to persuade him to run the Harpy decks next week. I don't think he will, but that would be funny if it happened. A few of the others are like 1500s, but I think we're already past the Urabi stat line. So there's also Ryukishin powered. I think that's
I
mostly
want to take a
it.
moment. There's actually one tribute summon that I think is worth noting, which
Okay.
is scroll down just a bit.
Yeah.
Uh, King of Yami
Okay.
Matai.
Yeah, as a 2K attacker.
Yeah, it's just a 2K attacker for one tribute, which is better than a lot of stuff.
It'd be like my backup. Yeah, it's better than the spiked Seadra I was playing this
And
episode. That's for
and then
sure.
you can play like Yami to try to get over 2K defenders.
Okay, well,
Exactly.
okay. I'll keep. I don't know if I pulled a King of Yami, but I think I might have one, so I'll keep that in mind. This is a 7-1, right? Yeah, okay. Then the rest look pretty much like you'd imagine. Block attack seems playable at this stage. I wish I had to share the pain. I didn't pull a single copy, and my opponents pretty much have playsets.
I
So
love the I love the like naming convention for these early sets where it's just like don't translate the name at all, just like keep a Japanese name.
yeah,
Well, the
it's
funny thing is, from what I understand, the ones where they kept the original Japanese name, those were in English in Japanese.
that's
So,
too
like,
funny.
yeah.
Like
So
Gekko
it was an
Fireball.
intentional choice. So anytime you see a card that's just the Japanese name,
Yeah.
that name is in English and Japanese for at least. I know for the first set. I don't know how much further they went with that.
That's funny. I think it adds,
So Hinotama is Sparks in Japanese, for example.
which is funny
No,
because there also is Sparks.
Hinotama
Like,
is Fireball.
oh,
Right,
Fireball.
right, Fireball, yes.
Ah, that's even more magic coded then. Very interesting. I love how much this was like very clearly, hey,
Katama is ball in Japanese.
oh,
Right.
well, there you go. Okay, so Share the Pain seems playable. Blog Attack seems playable at this point. Soul Release is a better Grave Digger's Ghoul, but I don't think it's good. Like, it
Now
seems
that
too.
Monster Reborn's out of the format, it doesn't matter.
Yes, exactly. We don't have Monster Reborn to deal. Yeah, for people who came in after we discussed it, the card that was banned after the episode was Monster Reborn. So I mean, Cheerful Coffin seems okay. I get that there's probably decks that want monsters in the graveyard. I don't have that deck, so I'm not running this card.
That card is unplayable.
My friend has a playset of Tremendous Fire and is actually considering playing it, so I wish them luck.
Honestly, Tremendous Fire is not bad.
No, because it's like
Burn
1K,
card,
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
1K burn. That's an eighth of their life.
so the
Like,
reason
not bad.
the reason why is that I think we pulled like multiple. Oh, I forgot the short prints again. Darn. We pulled multiple like Magician of Fates. I think I have two and somebody else has like one. So there's like reasons, I guess. Okay, well, short prints. There's some good stuff in here. In terms of clowns, nobody has playsets of both. I think like I have two Dream, someone's got two Crass and one Dream, and someone has maybe one, and no one has Swords of Revealing Light. So without swords or like an actual way to protect these clowns, it's very hard to play clown control because you can never get that turn where you can set both up or one up and take out their whole board. So I don't think we're going to see clown control in our format.
Dreamtech is a very notable card.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So these don't seem great. The attack your opponent's life point directly. Stimpack seems great because it's just a very powerful boost, and even if it loses 200 attack, that's still better than the equip spell even after multiple turns. I'm not playing Time Wizard, Baby Dragon, Thousand Dragon, so whatever. I pulled 3 copies of Thunder Dragon. I think two of us have 3 copies. One of us only has two. But I mean, I know why this is good. It's like you ditch it, you get two more. Like it's just the thinning. It's making sure you have cards in hand. I don't
Make
know.
sure to add them one at a time. So
So like discard. Oh yeah, you mean like what? Discard only
Like
fetch the
discard
one?
Thunder Dragon, add one Thunder Dragon. Discard bad Thunder Dragon, add the last one.
Okay. Um.
It's like
Un-
it's niche, but like that doing that is a bit better for chaos decks when you get to those.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, it's a light monster. Yeah, when we get to chaos, that'll be relevant. Okay. I was like, yeah. Unhappy Maiden doesn't seem amazing, but it does seem like the kind of defense that I might need because I'm really behind in terms of what I can do. It ends the battle phase when it's sent to the graveyard, but like that's it. I don't think it's very good, but it's like
I'm
not the
inclined to
worst.
agree with that. With your collection and not having much removal, I think that is a way to just stall.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, if you have a decent number of those, actually, it could make burn a viable strategy.
All right. Well, I don't think I have I don't think I have enough burn to do it, but I was keeping an eye on that. Super short print. I don't know why Cocoon is in both, but anyway. I
It's
guess.
probably because of like four different foilings, probably.
All right. So what's next? We said after to rare. Okay. I've got one of these. One of my friends has three. I'm not looking forward to Robin Goblin meta, but there's a lot of Robin Goblins, and it looks like a good continuous trap. This feels like a reason to keep the remove trap cards in now that I know that it only hits face up because I don't really want to have to deal with that. But again, situational is situational. These don't feel amazing. I mean, I know that they boost everything, but I don't think I can build a deck that can take like there's what there's all of them here, right? It's like Bladefly, this one, Starboy, and Witches, right? And Mila. So there's a bunch of them lying around. I don't think I can build a deck that uses them. I like the design. They're like lords, but that's it. I have two cannon soldiers. I'm very tempted to use them. Um, I'm hoping to like be able to do stuff with them. With seeing that I have a Sangan, I have a witch. Maybe I can get some recruiters or floaters in the future. But I mean, they're
They recruiters do not trigger.
is it? Oh, they only die from combat, right? By battle
Until
damage.
no
Oh
longer
well,
yeah,
never
by
mind then.
battle. Yeah.
But I might still use it just because it's one of the few ways that like if our boards get really stalled, you can play it, tribute your whole board. I'm assuming you can tribute itself. So that's like
It can't do
2.5k.
itself.
Because it's the kind like what you can do is on a turn where you can get a bunch of damage through, you can attack with everything and then tribute your whole board for 2.5k damage, right?
You can.
Yeah, I'm
However, I
just
don't think that situation's gonna come up very often.
so again, none of us have wipes, and my deck is just a bunch of 2k defenders, so maybe we'll see. Well, Dark Elf I've been told is good. Again, it's
Yeah,
like
it's
Jirai
very good,
Gumo,
yes.
except it doesn't cost like half your life. You're actually willing to pay like 1,000 to clear out your opponent's shit, and it blocks really well in attack position. Great Moth looks like it's garbage. I don't know if anyone's doing Petit Moth 4 turns with Cocoon, so no thank you. Mass Sorcerer, even though it reads cool like a looter, I don't think it'll get through enough that I'm going to be running it. Muka Muka is cool. It can get really big. What's the maximum hand size in Yu-Gi-Oh? Six, seven,
Six.
six.
six? So, yeah, okay. That's not bad. It's above 2,000 if your hand is full, but like, will that happen often enough? I don't think so. I'm sure this card falls off like immediately after next episode kind of thing, you know?
You said your deck is full of 2K defenders, right? How many copies of Sword and Shield do you have?
I have a playset, which was what I was going to talk about after. Um, I have a playset of Shield and Sword, so I'm very much considering a 2K defender and then Shield and Sword swing in for insane amounts of damage. But we'll get to there. I have a Sangan. I have a Witch. I know from Prague that these cards are like eternally good, and until they get banned, we'll be probably seeing them in the decks because it's one of the few ways of constantly floating into cards. So yeah, I'm assuming we're never going to see these come out of deck lists for quite some time, and they're also both dark for the purpose of chaos, right? Did I have that like
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Notably, I think you're seeing the eroded text on screen right now.
We are playing with the errata because the way we're playing with MD Pro 3, and I think that automatically enforces the latest version. So
Alright.
it will be whatever the card's current code is. So we're playing with fully errata, and I imagine that's what we're playing with. So I'd have to check. I'll get a screen cap of that later. Shadow Ghoul doesn't look good enough, but it's I like the effect. It's cool, but I don't
I
think
mean, this thing is, if I'm remembering Progression Series 2 right, Gage actually used this to pretty good effect.
I.
It's surprisingly hard to get over later in the game.
All right, I'll consider it.
So,
It's with nothing else having tributed one thing. It's a 1700, but I don't know. I don't know if I can get enough monsters in the yard, and it's my graveyard. I'll consider it. I have a few white magical hats. White magical hat seems really good, but that's more in a swords clown type thing, right? Where you keep your opponent off of monsters and then this hits them along with Robin Goblin. So I don't know if I can run white magical hats super
I don't think
efficiently.
it's worth it for you specifically because you don't really have a good way to plow through
Yeah.
other than getting
I
big
think
guys.
I think my opponents are gonna kill me with this though, because they're gonna remove my shit and then they're gonna hit me with that motherfucker. So I know that's gonna happen. Um, Magician of Faith, Mask of Darkness. From what people tell me, and Magician is the better of the two. Um, I have two of them. I have one mask, and I think everybody picked up at least a copy of each. So they'll be
Magician
around for
was
a
the
while.
better of the two, mostly because of the powerful spells from LOB.
Yeah. So, but again, we banned the powerful card that we got from LOB except for Fisher, so it's not as busted as it could be. So I'm happy to see it around. Princess is cool, but no one pulled one, so I don't really have to care about it. One of my friends has three of these. I doubt he's going to actually play the Harpy Lady deck, but you know, it is what it is. Shield and Sword is obviously super situational, but I think I have the deck that can make the best use of it. I'm running like a full defensive 2K suite, and like they don't have as many of those. So if they're putting stuff in defense, what's good on me is I have the advantage when I play it because mine will have moved to attack, theirs will still be in defense. So they'll actually have the lower defense while I'll have the higher attack. So I might run this. I think that's what it is. Fake Trap looks.
Probably the best card for your 2K Defender
Yep.
tribal.
Yep. Fake Trap feels like a trap. Am I correct? Like this feels like a waste of a card.
Yes.
Okay.
I remember opening this.
The art is not great. Next
It's really bad.
is supers. Okay. I pulled none of Kazejin, Sanga, or Suijin, and my opponents, somebody has a Sanga and a Suijin, and the other one has Kazejin, so I'm sad. I have a Harpy Lady Sisters, which makes me sad.
Sanga is the best out of the three, but
Yeah.
it's also a two tribute, so
Yeah. But he has both. I mean, I think they're gonna see play, at least in episode 2. We're still at, if you can gum up the board and this comes out, I don't know how I deal with it. I just don't actually. No one's got Turtle, I don't have to care about it. No one has this stuff. No one has Garnetia Elephantis. No one pulled, no, that's not true. So someone pulled a Heavy Storm, I believe, and someone has a Tribute to the Doom. So I know there's two of these to deal with. And I have two Karibos, and neither of my opponents do. So I have Karibos. I'll do what I can with them, but the big joke is like, check me out. I got hand traps. Awesome. No Catapult Turtle. I know this card is like really nuts, but I don't.
Turtle really does stuff with combination of other cards,
Yep.
including Magical Scientist later.
Yep.
But at a base level, it's only okay at best.
We don't have one, unfortunately, so that's not gonna. And then in the ultra rares, so virtually nothing here got pulled except one of my opponents is a Black Skull Dragon, but doesn't have Summon Skull or Red Eyes Black Dragon, so that's okay. And the two of us, this is like the one card I pulled. I have a Change of Heart, and my friend Crimpy has a Change of Heart. I 100% believe this will be the next card banned if both of us win. But if either of us lose and get to pick the banned card, because we're behind, we might choose to keep Change of Heart in. So in the meantime, Change of Heart is like my one like super strong card, but that's it. There's no Mirror Force, so no one has to worry about full attacking or getting countered or getting it's not going to happen in our format right now. But I know that Seven Tools is good, Solemn Judgment is good. Like I know these cards are great. None of us have any. I don't know if Barrel Dragon is good. I don't even know what this does. Target a monster, toss a coin 3 times. Oh, that just seems like fine because it doesn't cost you anything, right?
It's surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's what is it? It's like
neutral
snipe.
use and
It's like
uh,
snipe hunter
Snipe Hunter you're
ish.
thinking of.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
Uh,
snipe is better, I think, because it doesn't require
Yeah, Sword Hunter
tributes.
is more often to trigger than not, and Royal Barrel Dragon is
Okay.
more often to not trigger.
Okay. So, but I think I have a good read. Magic Jammer probably would have been playable, but nobody pulled one. And Horn of Heaven is like equivalent, right? It's like the big negate stuff. But no one has any, so it's just we don't have to worry about like none of these cards for now. I know there'll be another shot at them. I think it's Dark Beginning one is the reprint set, so but that's quite a few weeks away, so I don't have to worry about too much there. So yeah, that's my read on Metal Raiders. Like obviously I can show you my collection real quick before we go on to Magic Ruler. You'll see like what I mean in terms of like I really don't have too much. Like yeah, 7 colored fish, but I've got like all these 2K defenders. I got blocks, I got change. Like it's really just going to be more of the same I think for my week 1 unfortunately. Play defensively, try and play around the removal that my opponents are packing. My 2 magicians here. And like do the best. The links to the collection will be like in the videos that I post. So like at all times people can check out the list and go like, "Hey, we recommend you try this." Or you do, "Oh my god, I have 5 unhappy maidens." Okay, maybe I can really super stall. So and I got 2 white magics. Oh well. Okay, Magic Ruler. We haven't opened it yet. So starting from here, this is more of these cards would be cool. These cards probably aren't going to see play. And yeah, so we'll start at the commons like we did last time. It's really funny that apparently they fucked up in Europe, and I apologize for the swear there, but it's fine because I don't make this for kids, but I'll try and not use that. A lot of cards like here that say Europe, these were like cards that were just like added because they were missed in the European previous set, so they added them in Magic Ruler. Is that what happened, or
I don't know.
because like these are all cards from like the previous set, but it's just so funny to see them here. Except this one, I don't
you
think.
You can see cards from starter deck Yugi and Kylo.
Okay. Well, we're not gonna have access to that. We discussed like a lot of possible rules, like, hey, how can like do you guys want it less complicated, more complicated? And we went with the keep it simple, keep it fun. So we're not doing opening starter decks. We're not having like a prize wheel. It's just very clean. If you go 2-0, you get bragging rights for the week because we decided to reward the people who are behind rather than ahead. If you go 1-1, you just get 3 additional packs of the next set. And if you go 0-2, you get the same reward and you get to pick a card to ban out of the pool. So just keeping it simple. Obviously, from week to week, we'll change it if we feel it's not doing sufficient. But like that's kind of where we're at. So common cards. I don't actually know most of these because I haven't read the set yet. So here we go. Chain Energy, I only know from Progression Series, where Gage used it to horrible effect and killed himself with it. But like the card seems okay if you're like way ahead, but it does feel like, I don't know.
The card's very risky.
It seems it's like this. It's like Mana Barbs-ish, and like yeah, eventually it's good, but like you'll also probably kill yourself with it. So, I don't know. I don't think I'll be playing Chain Energy if I pull any. Boar Soldier. What is this? If it's normal summon, destroy it. This doesn't seem great. If your opponent controls the decrease. How this card seems horrendous. Is this? Am I reading it correctly? If you normal summon it,
What you do is flip summon it.
oh my gosh. Oh, okay. That's
not the same as normal.
Okay. You have to set. Oh my god. Okay.
So yeah, it is pretty horrendous.
But I'm not gonna play it. Okay. This doesn't look great, but it is really funny that it's like, hey, telepathy. Dark Zebra, it doesn't look good. We're gonna have better 1800 attackers, I think, by this point. And I don't like the fact that it switches itself to 400 and cannot change back, so it doesn't feel great. Electric Snake. Oh. Well, I don't think my opponent has anything. Okay, if no one bans Robin Goblin next episode and it becomes Robin Goblin meta, maybe. But even then, this feels horrendous. It's like that. It's like the idea of like we're gonna counter their thing by this incredibly niche thing that if I draw it in any other circumstance, I lose. So this doesn't feel great. Um, this is like an
This one's
opposite.
honestly okay.
This one feels fine because unlike Muka Muka, which says, hey, you can't play any of your cards, this one says play out your whole hand and I get to be an awesome attacker and defender. I would run Flash Assailant. I'd be open to that.
That's very fair.
Griggle. Oh my god. When it shifts to your opponent. Okay, so Griggle is like, haha, I'm face down. I dare you to change of heart me. Anyway, this seems horrendous. I'm not playing that card.
That's pretty accurate, yeah.
Kododama. If there are face-up monsters with the same name on... Okay, so it kills all other Kododamas?
No.
And also just any other
If there are...
two monsters with the same name.
Oh, okay, interesting. But what's the trigger on this? Is it just when you play it? It's like a permanent effect?
I think it elaborates in the text.
If a monster is summoned or flip face up that has the same name as a monster is already face up. Oh. Okay. I don't think this is going to be playable though, even with like everything that's on that text.
I wouldn't say so, no.
I love it. My opponent has to be beating me up with multiples for me to get any of... Okay. Minar. When it's discarded directly from your hand to the... Okay. I mean, yeah, you got me. Robin Goblin, take 1,000, but then I died? No, okay, we're not playing that. I want to run Penguin Knight. Just because it's adorable.
I think
But
you're
it's...
going to want to wait until Penguin Soldiers. That's
Penguin,
the
I
real
know.
good Penguin.
I know. Penguin Soldier is just so much better. But I love the art on this one. I think I owned a copy of this as a kid. I know that Sonic Bird is playable. Gets the ritual spell, and I know there's others that will get the ritual monster. I don't remember what they're called. It's like it's got a bunch of arms or hands or something. But
Manju.
thank
Of
you.
the 10,000 hands, I believe.
So, like, I know this card can see play. I don't think it'll see play on the... Not next episode, but the one after. So, I don't think it'll see play in the next episode. But, you know, it's...
Rituals don't get good for a long time.
Yeah, but,
Probably
you know...
until Demise King of Armageddon.
So, again, funny thing is, I had first played Yu-Gi-Oh! When it first came out, and Hamburger Recipe and Hungry Burger were like literally some of my favorite cards just design wise. So when they announced that there was going to be a new Hungry Burger like retrain archetype with like the nouvelles, I was just super excited just because it's super cheesy, like a bunch of demons and like demons from hell, because it's all the circles, right? Like they all have like demon names but combined with food. Anyway, I love it. I can't play Wall Shadow unless I get Magical Labyrinth, and then I also have to tribute two things. I don't know. I don't think Wall Shadow's coming out. I don't know what Horn of Light does. Let's read it together. Increase defense by 800. Okay, so see, this is where it's conditional. I can pay 500 to get it back to the top of the deck, which is the same as Malevolent, and it's 700 attack, 800 defense. I think Nuzzler is obviously the better of the two, but like, they're not crap.
I don't even know if Horn of Light's worth playing, to be honest.
But
I get your deck in particular has a lot of defense.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, well, there's Magical Labyrinth, which I have to equip to a Labyrinth wall. I can then tribute to... Oh my gosh, it's just... Oh, it's Wall Shadow from the deck. Okay, well, I still don't think it's worth it.
Absolutely not.
It's so convoluted. Like, it's so funny because that's what they do in the anime, but they did it because the cards are permanently glued to their hands, right? So, like, they didn't have to worry about actually drawing the damn things. I already talked about Nuzzler. I know that Nuzzler is fine. I used to play, like, the old Yu-Gi-Oh! Games on, like, the DS and, like, the Game Boy Advance, and I remember this card being, like, actually kind of fine.
Nuzzler is probably one of the better commons in the set.
And if I can get the card that cares about having stuff equipped to it, like, this feels like the right card to do it with. I would run Chorus of Sanctuary if I keep running my defense deck, just because it's all of them, but it hits the opponent too, so I don't know. And Plasma Zone.
Series, and honestly, it's not bad.
It's also cute, like little cherub guy. Hello. Plasma Zone is... Oh, Plasma Zone is part of this short print cycle, which I know is higher up, where it's like the extreme buffs, where a lot of attack but decreases defense. These seem much better than the vanilla ones, because if attack is very important, and extra 500 is actually kind of like really good on a lot of creatures. So
Attribute is something you can build around a lot more.
yeah, right. Okay, that's what I
Also
figured.
true.
And we're going to be like a few sets in, so like the amount of a certain type that we'll have like might be higher. So I don't have to talk about you because you're Europe. You're not showing up. Spear Cretin, when it's sent to the graveyard for being flipped, they have to select a monster from the graveyards. And okay, so this will benefit my opponent more. Um, I don't have better.
It's not very good.
It doesn't seem great. What's I've seen Weather Report before. What? Oh yeah, it's the Swords of Revealing
You
Light
can,
Destroyer.
I believe you can still infinitely loop Spear Cretins.
Oh yeah, okay. If you have another, and you can put it in face down, another Spear Cretin. Okay, I'll keep out an eye on if I get multiple. Good to think about. So yeah, Weather Report blows up Swords of Revealing Light that your opponents control. Um, None of us have any, so goodbye. This is not worth it. Probably, like, I think now we're in the vanillas again. I think the ones that I remember 1650 were already going to be beyond that, I think, by this point. I remember Labyrinth Wall being relevant because it's a 3k defender for one tribute, but I don't know if that's actually true.
It's kind of
Um,
obnoxious.
Not a lot gets over it. My opponent would
Wait a
need to
minute,
have,
does
like.
the lab
Go ahead, yeah?
wait a minute, does that card that tributes the labyrinth wall, yeah, does that have you tribute it for a 400 attack increase? Wall
It's
shadow.
Yeah, equip only to Labyrinth Wall, tribute it, and you get yeah, it's a 3000 defender with 1600
Yeah,
attack
1600 attack.
instead of 0.
Same defense.
Uh-huh. It's not great. But yeah, I guess I might run Labyrinth Wall if I'm playing this weird sword and shield type thing, I guess. But I don't know. It seems bad to tribute a 2k for a 3k. It seems like too much of a good
Honestly,
thing,
the
but
difference between 2K and 3K is pretty huge. 2K is
Yeah.
something
is
you can
it?
pretty easily get over if you have an equip
Oh,
or
you
a
know
slightly
what? That's
stronger
true.
monster.
Well,
It's
yeah,
much harder to get over a 3K.
because I was still thinking we're in the 2000 attack era, but Jirai Gumo at 2.2 by nature is already going to be above it. And yeah, equips or fields. Okay, I'll keep
And
Labyrinth
at
Wall
this
in
point,
mind.
you also do have enough equips that people are going to have access to, especially stuff like Malevolent
Yeah,
Guzzler
yeah. Okay,
and other stat boosts like those field spells.
fair
That
enough. Fair enough.
2K is no longer as impenetrable a defense as it was.
Okay, well, Labyrinth Wall, then keep that in mind. The rest so far seems really bad. Uh, I remember Red Archery Girl and Ryu Ran, but I mean,
I have fond memories of Ryu Ran. It's not good.
well, I mean, it's better than me running 3 copies of Trial just because I knew my opponent was going to be on Fiend buff. But anyway, yeah. So the rest is exactly what you'd imagine. I have no clue what this card. Okay, so I have a question. Is this a hard? I have to have 5 cards in hand, or if I'm down to 1 card, it will work? Noah.
No, you have to.
Okay, never mind. This card is garbage. Okay, we're done here.
Yep.
Upstart Goblin, I know is fantastic. I know that in Magic, the idea that it would be like free, no mana, draw a card, your opponent gains 2 life is like, or 3 life is really good.
Unlike Magic the Gathering, you have to do everything in the text, or else it's an illegal activation.
Okay,
Like
cool,
if you have
perfect.
reinforcements of the army, but you don't have a warrior type monster in your deck, you cannot activate that card.
Oh, I wonder if when you play it on Master Duel, does it just straight up not let you play it?
That's correct, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, nice. So I can't accidentally fuck up. That's nice. So yes, Upstart is good, right? I know that people tend to play a lot of it early because it's just like your deck is not 40 cards, it's 37. And yeah, your opponent got a few extra life points, but you're up on them anyway. So
Upstart is as good as your deck is. If your
okay.
deck is not good, Upstart Goblin is not good.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you don't give your opponent 1,000 life points if you're just going to draw into Tyhone number 2, you know? Yeah. Eat Gaboon. If the attack monster. Okay, look. So I've got no removal, but I don't think my opponents are going to. And this doesn't even work on special summon. So I don't think they're going to be normal summoning 500-point attackers. So this doesn't seem good.
Probably not.
And this is the same thing for defense. So
Yeah. I also just got to say that coming from Magic, saying functional bracketed text is strange. Yeah.
if Okay, well, house. Okay, like correct me if I'm wrong. Cards like Jirai Gumo and stuff, don't they have like very low defense? Is this like my one place where I could say like, see, look, because 100 defense, 1,000. No, that's 1,000 already. So that's 100. Where's the 800? See, okay, it's already misses Dark Elf and stuff. Never mind. I'm friendship with House of Adhesive Tape is already over. Um, Snake Fang seems too situational, but I guess it's not the worst.
It's slow.
It seems
I think they're gonna
slow
have
and
better options by
yeah,
set
okay.
3 than Snake Fang.
So reliable Guardian is good. It seems
If you keep up
okay.
your defense heavy deck, I
Yeah,
think this is worth playing.
it's quick play, so yeah,
Yes.
it's okay. I'll keep that in mind. I don't think Crab Turtle, Hungry Burger, or Performance of Sword are gonna get played. Therefore, Dance, Recipe, Oath aren't relevant. And I believe that when we, oh my gosh, if we even get to the Nouvelles packs, there is Hamburger Recipe and Hungry Burger in that set anyway, right? So none of these really matter at this stage.
I will say, if you end up wanting to play a ritual for some reason,
Yeah.
Crab Turtle is the way to go.
Total level stars 8 or more from field or hand. Okay, just because it's huge, like 25,
Yeah, just
50.
because it's huge. The others
Okay.
are kind of underwhelming.
Oh
compared
shit,
to-
this is only a 1950. My gosh. Okay. Okay, well, I'll keep
Yeah.
an eye on Crab Turtle and Turtle Oath. What I don't like about these ones is like the rituals are in my deck. So like unless I get like 3 Sonic, like I could accidentally wrong half myself and draw my garnets, right? So
Yep.
okay. But that's a good coverage of the normals. And again, this is to help my 2 friends as well who aren't likely going to read like every card like I am here, but that's why I'm good to go over the rest. So, short print commons, here's the rest of the big no, sorry, not you. You.
Scroll
Here's
back down. I saw Rush recklessly.
that's in
That's in the regular rares.
those are in the rares. I'm going
Okay,
cuz
Rush,
I
Rush
think
recklessly is gonna be huge.
yeah, short print I believe from what I understand is commons that are short printed and then super short print is like short printed super. So I'm still getting around the fact that that rarity in Yu-Gi-Oh is tied to the foiling. So I think that's or vice versa. I think that's actually hilarious. But it's cool. Like so people are all like, "Oh yeah, but this card got reprinted at common, so it's not foiled." And they upgraded this common to like ultra rare, so now it's blitzed out. And I was like, "This is really fun." Like
It is very funny.
It's
Yeah.
better in the OCG where there's cards at low rarity and high rarity.
in the same pack.
But in the TCG, yeah, in the same pack. Like the same
Okay.
card will appear in multiple rarities.
Okay.
But in the TCG, there's like secret rare exclusive cards, and
Okay. Is
that
this
artificially drives up the price of the
yeah,
card.
is this why the TCG cards like I was hearing someone talking about Molcharmy, what is it? Foolos or
Yeah,
the new one?
Charmy's Perulia is like 140, 120, somewhere around there.
But in
And
the
in the OCG,
OCG.
it's around like a quarter.
Yeah, okay. And you're not allowed to play the Japanese OCG ones in the TCG, correct?
No,
I
you're
believe
not.
the actual reason for that
They've got
more so
different
than just
different card sizes. Yeah.
Jeez, okay. Wow.
I think the other reason is also the card backs are different, which doesn't
Ah,
matter as much when you have sleeves, but like
but I
if
okay.
you don't have sleeves, that's a huge problem.
Interesting stuff. All right, so continuing on these short print fields, this is the other build arounds, all the plus 500 but lose 400. I don't think I'm going to be the right deck to put any of these to use anytime soon. And from what I understand, more powerful synergies than just run all earth, run all light exist. But like, there's maybe worlds where like it's not the worst cards. But from having watched Prague, I don't think I see these coming out very often, so I'm assuming they're not going to be super relevant. Gravekeeper's Servant. So this is funny because it was making me think about Android Netrunner, which is about taxing your opponent with like ice and stuff. But this is not a very big tax. It's like, oh no, I'll mill a card anyway. It kills me, right? So
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
it also
It's
feels
not good
like
enough. It doesn't do enough.
won't it also like screw me over if my opponent's on chaos and I'm just sending their cards anyway? It just felt like not worth
You
it.
would
Never
never
played
use
Magic
this
with
by
the
the
TCG
time you
rules
get
on
to
this map.
chaos.
Okay, so let's not even look at these. But is there a world where any of these 500 attack field spells could be relevant beyond next episode or two, or are these just going to fall off
The
hard?
guy with harpies might play Rising the Air Current.
Sorry, which one?
Rising Air Current.
Okay.
Like
Oh, okay.
harpies.
Okay, harpies. I'll remind my friend who pulled the three elegants and the three harpies. I have the harpy sister, but he has three harpy ladies. I don't know if we're ever gonna do trades, but who knows? Okay, what are you? 2-star flip, tribute it during your. This doesn't seem what? Flip after this
Yeah,
card is flipped,
survive.
tribute it during
Yeah,
your
survive.
standby to destroy all monsters you control and inflict a bunch of damage. But it has to survive the.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not good.
So okay, even if it dies, the flip just won't do anything because it's in the. Okay, yeah, no, this is bad. Okay, um, Curse of Fiend,
This
change the
card is
battle,
confusing as hell, and also weirdly playable.
change all attack position to defense and vice versa. Their positions cannot be changed during the turn this card is activated, except by effects of spell traps or effects. But you can only use it during your standby phase. That's a weird. So it's got a weird activation for a normal, and I have to set it first, right?
No, you just activate it.
No,
on
you
your
just
hand.
activate it.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's weird. I think this might hurt you more.
This hurts me, right? Because I'm the one who's going to
Yeah,
be really
it's
okay,
an out to your deck rather than an aid.
rather than actually being a tool. Okay.
The only way I could see it being useful is if you have the sword and shield in hand
Yes.
when you use it.
Okay. Well, all right.
It's also
I mean,
something to keep in mind that your opponents may play.
yep. I'll keep that in mind. Fairy's Hand Mirror. When they activate a spell card, it's not a trap, just spell that targets exactly one monster. Okay, so here's the problem. The removal that's out is there's two fissures, but like everything else, like share the pain and stuff, doesn't target. And this doesn't hit traps. I don't think I'm running this, even if it redirects
Fissure doesn't
to.
target either.
Yeah. Oh, Fissure, it doesn't target. It's just the opponent destroy the. Oh, you're right. It's not target. It's just destroy the monster, right? Oh, never mind. Okay, I don't like this. Okay, I like Tailor of the Fickle, but it might seem situational. But it's just if I see my opponents during the next, or I mean, if they see me, remember I'm talking like globally. If we see
It is a
opponents
quick play,
running,
so you could get your opponents
yeah,
like loser on monster.
that's what I was thinking, right? And
I
if
think
you
it's
can,
playable at this stage because, with Magic Ruler,
yep,
there are a lot of good.
like you got
There are a lot of
Nuzzler
good
and
equipment at this point.
there's some other ones there coming up, but okay. So I'll keep Taylor in mind as a counterplay. So after short print commons, we would go down to rares. This is where we get the recruiters, right? The giant rats, mother grizzly, tomato, UFO, shining. Where's the other one? Am I missing one? Flying Kamakiri. Okay, so it's the 6, one for each type, and I know from what I've been told, the most important is the dark and the lights for chaos because that's coming up. But
Generally
like
speaking, yes.
they're all fine, right? Like if I have the I've seen Giant Rat get played. I don't see Grizzly, UFO, and Kamakiri get played as much, but there can
All of
be
the
a
recruiters
reason.
are good.
They seem
All of the
fine. Yeah,
recruiters
okay.
are good to some extent.
Just because it summons it onto the field, just that makes a big difference, I find. So like they're great.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's always worth keeping in mind that recruiters can summon more recruiters.
Yes. Oh, they can always pick up copies of themselves, huh? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Because they
very
all
good.
qualify.
Sweet.
Giant.
We'll go with Amoeba first. Yeah, no worries.
Yep.
I know I jumped ahead because I saw them, but yeah, we'll get to Germ in a second. I know Germ is fine. Amoeba is when it shifts to your opponent. Okay, like I'm never gonna gotcha anyone. My opponents are too smart. I think they would never just use a change of heart on a face down Amoeba. So I don't think this
They
is
have to be
gonna.
face up for the trigger.
It has what? Sorry.
They have to be face up to trigger.
Oh, so it's useless?
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool, perfect. Like I don't have to go reading more. Sweet. Okay, I know Giant Germ is fine because it's 500 and then it special summons up to 2 to the field, and that's actually pretty good. So
Yes.
playset of Germ seems pretty good at this stage of the game.
Yes. If you can get a playset of Germ or a playset of Nimble Mamanka, both
Oh,
of those are very good. Or even a playset of both.
So is it correct that Nimble Mamanga is Nimble Mamanga like the better one because face down defense doesn't immediately kill you if your opponent can keep attacking into stuff? Is like, or are they just both good?
I'd say they're both good.
Okay.
I think I've heard arguments that Germ is better because it deals damage.
Oh, This is gain 1,000, and this is okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, I didn't realize they were
So
different on that.
they're
Okay.
slightly different.
Next, we've got Karate Man. This seems bad.
It's not great.
Okay, cool.
Doesn't seem to be anything
Senju.
more
Senju
than
seems
good.
fine. I would love to pick up a bunch of Senjus because eventually this picks up the ritual monsters. So it's just anything that quickly picks up cards seems good. So
Yeah.
Senju and Bird. Horn of the Unicorn is the equip that gives it 700 on both, but this also tops itself. So it's just like a bigger sort of deep seated.
Which is still good.
Which could be good. Just obviously, I have to keep in mind that, like, essentially what happens is if I don't want to keep drawing it, I'll just leave it in hand, right? Like,
Yep.
worst
Yeah,
case, it costs
basically.
me. Worst case, it costs me a draw, but it is. I know Cyberjar is good.
Cyberjar is insane.
I know that it's just it does so much. It nukes the board. We special summon a bunch of small stuff. So if I'm not tributing and I don't have anything at 5/6, I get a whole board, and everything else gets drawn. Like, I know this card is nuts. And if you have, because you can put them in face down defense, right? If you flip into more cyber jars, you can just anyway. It does a lot of stuff, right? Like it's
Yep.
cool. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. Shadow Scout looks horrible. Why would I want to give what?
It is horrible. It's
Wow.
arguably one of the worst cards in the game.
Give your opponent 3 cards. They might have to discard some spells. Wow, this is really bad. And it's not even good
arguably
stats.
one of the worst cards in the game.
Wow.
This is a
Amazing
7
male
tribute, but
condition.
the stats don't look like I'm sure we'll be doing better than this. I wish I could pull pot, but I won't. Rush looks amazing. It's a quick play 700 attack, which seems really
Rush is
good.
going to win you maybe even games, honestly.
So my issue is because it's attack, it's unlikely to, unless I pull very differently in the next couple of sets, because I think I'm still going to be defensive, it'll benefit my opponents a lot more for now, but obviously it's a good card, right? Like,
I think you play this even in a defense deck because
okay.
this card is just really strong at this stage in the game.
And because on my attack, being able to quick play it from hand and all that is good. Yeah, okay. I like it.
Yes.
Manga is treated as a toon. I already knew that, but I have to have Toon World, and the chances that that happens are 0. So this kind of is just
Honestly, the toon monsters aren't worth considering at this point.
so yeah. Okay, well, they are there. Secret rare. We're not at that yet, so we are going to. It's Ultra next, right? Before Super.
Super.
Oh, Super first. Super then Ultra. Okay. Messenger of Peace is one of the first floodgates,
Spell
right?
Card.
It's a. Are they called floodgates in Yu-Gi-Oh? Am I using the term
Yes.
correctly? Okay, so this seems really good for me, right?
I believe Floodgate, the term, originated from the Magic the Gathering card Floodgate.
Oh, dang. Okay, I keep forgetting that that's an actual card because I don't think anyone in Magic plays it.
Floodgate was a creature that when it left the field deals damage to all creatures equal to the number of islands you control, I believe.
Oh yeah. Okay, no, I know this card because it was reprinted in Dominaria Remastered, and I have a copy of it, and I was like, hello. Wow.
And yes, you could just keep like flickering or bouncing Floodgate, and it just like your opponent can't play the game anymore.
Okay. Well, this one seems good for me if I'm on a defensive plan because 1,500 or more attacks will be needed to get through my stuff.
It's very hard to deal with, and spell trap removal isn't great at this point unless you have one of the bomb cards.
And because we didn't use these starter decks, none of us have access to like Dispel or anything. So, yeah, please, I hope I can pull one. But super rares, my luck has not been high. Toon World, I don't think we're ever gonna play Toon. They're ultra rares. Like we're not tuning. I don't want to see this. I don't want to draw it. I want anything else. This becomes relevant. I know that banishing stuff that goes to the graveyard will be important, and it's a 2K defender by itself. So I know against a few decks, this is actually relevant text. So
it's still not great, honestly, even at its best, because you want it in defense mode.
Yeah.
But its effect isn't active if you set it. So
fair enough. But we're not gonna hit. What is it? Macro Cosmos and Banisher, right? But we're not gonna get access to that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. This is the one I was thinking of. Mahavilo, if I pull Nuzzlers and all that stuff, can become super gross.
The
So
card's just kind of a bomb at
it
this
is
stage
good,
of the
right?
game.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I would love to pull
Even a
one.
single one just like makes it disgusting
Yeah.
and strong.
Black Pendant. Okay, so like obviously there's better equips, but Black Pendant, the fact that it's the damages to the opponent and not to me, like okay. Like if I get Maha Vilo and I have a Black Pendant, I guess maybe you run
I
it.
think you
Like
play Black
you
Pendant
play it,
before you
right?
pull it.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
not like great, but
I love
like
early
it's
Yu-Gi-Oh,
the same stat as sort of the deep seated,
but
and like
with no drawback really. Like yeah.
yeah, and with no drawback.
Okay, so Invader of the Throne is flip, select an opponent's monster, switch control. This seems actually playable, right? Like
The
often
problem is it's not during battle phase, so you have to be the one to flip it,
oh.
which is far from a guarantee.
Okay, never you're right. This effect cannot be activated. Okay, never mind. That's really rough. Because if they attack into it, I've lost it, right? So
Mhm.
okay. I know the next three are absolutely cracked, and I hope we get them. I know that Confiscation is really, really good. I know Giant
Yep.
Trunade is very, very good, and I know Painful
Yep.
Choice is considered to be one of, if not one of the strongest Yu-Gi-Oh cards that exist. Like
I think it's
Um,
less good at this stage, but it will very quickly become insane.
in the future, yeah, not here, but just the fact that
Yeah.
it's you get one card of the five, and if your opponent mispicks, they'll bin cards that you wanted in the bin in the first place. So yeah, so like obviously any of these would be great long term, and I don't really want Black Illusion Ritual because it's super unlikely that I pull Relinquished. So,
Yep.
but like if I do and I get Relinquished, I guess. And then Super Short Prints, what do we have? Toll seems good, okay, good enough for me, but I'm not sure if I do still play it. Like my opponent can still just kill me with one well placed attack or two, and this just doesn't do much. It's like a lot worse than Messenger of Peace in my opinion here.
I agree.
Slot Machine doesn't look great. Like we've already got better than that. What's Darkness? Discard 2 cards. Select a face-up monster. Okay, so this is like if I literally pull no removal, do I maybe play Dark? Now this seems like really horrendous.
What if Book of Moon, but
Right.
incredibly dog shit?
Yeah. It's really, really bad. Okay, cool. That's what I
Yep.
figured. Eternal Rest seems very situational sideboard, but if after next
Believe it or
episode,
not, it's actually very good in this format because
Yeah?
there's
Okay.
a lot of good equip cards. Like Malevolent Nuzzler becomes a big player.
So because my opponents and I open our packs together, so I know that like Simo Engage when they do theirs, they kind of open separately and then they get to surprise their opponent with stuff. We do it as a communal activity, so for us it's more important to like celebrate each other's pulls. But like we don't like I don't meticulously analyze what they have, but yeah, if I'm seeing that they're going equips and I have this or either of us sees it, we'll keep an eye on that. And then we get to the
Honestly,
ultra.
this format is just big about equips.
Cool.
Like that is a card that I think you want one of in your deck if you pull it.
All right.
I don't
So
know
I
if you
guess
want more than that. But
I guess Taylor's and Eternal Rest might come up then. All right.
yeah.
All right, Ultras. Spellbinding, targeted monster your opponent controls. It can't attack or change its battle
Another
position.
thing about Eternal Rest, it
Yeah.
turns any equipped spells in your hand into removal spells.
That's
Oh.
also why Paralyzing Potion stays good.
Okay. You know what? I didn't consider that it would work with my playset of Paralyzing Potion. Okay. I like it a little more now. All right. Spellbinding Circle feels it can attack or change its battle position, so it's kind of like a Paralyzing Potion, but it's a trap and it's continuous. So yeah, I'll play it if I get one. Acts of Despair. It's treated as an Archfiend card? That's hilarious. Okay. Gains
Yeah,
1,000 attack.
Because
Oh.
the Japanese name of this card is like Demon's Axe.
Cool. All right. This seems good, right? 1,000 attack.
Yeah, one of the
And
best equipments in the format.
okay. Yeah. I mean,
If only because of the stat.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is the kind of card that I don't see much further in the prog past like a couple episodes here, I would imagine, but
It's going to stay relevant for longer than you'd expect.
all right, I'll keep an eye on it then. Megamorph, while your life points are lower than your opponent's, the equipped monster attack becomes double its original attack. Okay, so this is like when I'm behind, suddenly one of my monsters is going to become the nuts.
Or
Yeah.
when you attack with Chiragumo or Dark.
Or when you attack with
Oh, okay. Jiraigumo. So, Zphil, you've got the 7 Jiraigumos. I know you're not. Hopefully, you listen to the video because I will send it to you guys. Yeah, Megamorph Jiraigumo. Go for it. Okay, I know the next 4 are all very good. I know Snatch Steal is phenomenal.
Yep.
I don't like it, you equip it and then you just have to pay 1,000 life. Like they keep gaining life points, but it doesn't matter. You're probably killing them. Delinquent Duo is gross, like really gross.
I had to ban
Um,
it in my Prog series.
I don't like again because we're banning one card essentially every episode and perhaps even more. I don't assume this will last long if we do pull it. Forceful Sentry is great. Just like, another one of the few ways I think in Yu-Gi-Oh of hitting hands. I think that
Yep.
is it just me or is that become like a thing that modern Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't do much is attack your opponent's hand like the way Magic does. So it's more
There
about
are cards that do it, but they're generally hated and not kept around
okay.
very
Well,
long.
there we go. MSTs. It's ultra rare here, but I think it shows up like in Dark Beginning at like lower rarities. So it's highly unlikely that we pull a bunch of them. But once we do, these are going to be main board for the entire series because we're playing best of one. And I just assume that we'll be having mystical space typhoons in our decks at all times if we pull any.
I will say it eventually gets power crept,
What power
but
creeps MST? Like how much further away? Like
it's a long way away.
Wind
It's a
Twister,
Cyclone?
long
Cosmic
way away.
Cyclone.
which one?
Wind
Sorry.
Twister, Cosmic Cyclone.
Oh yeah, okay. Cosmic
Like,
Cyclone is the one I know. Yeah. Um, is that the one that's just pay 1,000? Yeah.
yeah, that
Pay
one's
a
hit
1,000 banish instead of destroy. Twin
Ah,
Twister,
banish.
discard
That's
card,
the
discard
difference.
it.
But
Twin Twister is you can discard a card and you can hit 2 spell traps instead of 1.
is it you may or you have to discard? Okay, but yeah,
Twin
you
Twister, you have to.
okay, but still, it's still really good. But like, am I ever gonna have quantities of MST and Cyclone that you eventually? I mean, I don't think we could.
They're a ways away. You're not
Okay,
going to get them until.
You're not going to need to care until at least the Xyz era.
yeah, we're not. I don't. I would love. I think we're gonna be doing this weekly, bi-weekly, so it'll depend on our cadence, obviously. So yeah. Um. Okay, Relinquished. I know it's good as a card, but I mean, you need to have Black Illusion to do it, right? So
I think if you pull all the pieces for it,
you play it,
jam
right?
enough searchers so Sonic Burden sends you.
You play
I
it.
think you try to jam it because it sounds really funny if you get it.
So
But like generally speaking, I don't think it's good.
the reason I would do it is when I changed my Discord profile, I was like, okay, well, someone's playing like Control. I guess they can be Kaiba. One of the guys is Dark Magician. He'll be Yugi. And I'm like, who's the third iconic that I can draw without like Grandpa would have been great. So I drew Pegasus. Like I'd be fine playing Relinquished. It would be funny. Like just if I could do it. And then I guess we get to the last tunes. We're not gonna be playing these, right? Like
Yep.
they're there. I don't think we're ever gonna tune it up. So and then okay, whoops, I forgot secret rares.
They don't matter.
This doesn't matter, and unfortunately, this also doesn't matter, right? So, okay. So, am I incorrect? I'm sure I'm correct in saying these first sets, literally every set recontextualizes the entire game. Like, we're already going to be changing so much from here, and then Magic Ruler is just going to do that again, and that just kind of keeps going for a while. I think it's at GX where things, I mean, Chaos is going to be a big one that sticks around for a while. So,
Yu-Gi-Oh! Every set is always legal. So
yeah.
Mushroom Man number 2 suddenly becomes relevant against Kashtira because they have to have no monsters to special summon.
What? Wait, Mushroom, this thing, right?
Yeah.
A player
it was
control
temporarily relevant for
each
it
of
wasn't
their
the tier 0 format, but it was close from what I understand.
See, this is what I love. Like, I have no idea that this. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm looking at these cards. I'm like, this looks like garbage. And someone's like, well, actually, 15 years from now, you can sideboard it for. But again, we're not gonna have side decks, so it'll be a lot of. And I'm assuming the best thing that I can do is kind of try and think of it how like you play on Master Duel, where like should my deck, obviously right now my deck should just be built. I don't have the tools I need to do much more, but should we be building as if we're going second or building as if we're going first? Does that depend in best of one? Are there like any tricks for that? Because I'm actually unsure. So because without side decks, like it's all a coin flip, right? Like if I start with a deck that's entirely made to go second and destroy my opponent's board, but I go first, is that still okay? Do I like pass the turn? my opponent gets a setup turn and hits me, and then I don't know.
At this stage of the game, yeah, I don't think you can specialize too hard.
Yeah, not at this stage. But as we get to, like, again, I guess it doesn't matter. Cards like MST are good whether you're first or second and stuff like that, right? It's not gonna matter for a
For a
while,
while.
right? Okay, so I'll
Yeah.
I'll 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 think about that a little more when we get much further in, because that's something I actually like about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the whole concept of how different being on the play versus being on the draw is in Yu-Gi-Oh! Compared to like Magic, where it's like it matters a little bit for cards like Hand Attack or Burn that really wants to have like a 2 attacker haste,
Most
two power, you
most
know?
decks want to go first
Okay.
later on because you can set up disruptions or
Okay.
like set
Then
traps.
I'll so Crimpy, Zphil, you heard it first here. We're playing as if we're going first so that we set up a winning board and protection is better than hoping to blow it up. Sweet.
I will say going second early on does have the advantage of giving you an extra card because the setups aren't as quick or explosive. But so
Yes.
there's validity to both options,
Yep.
really.
Because we're playing on the emulator, it's already following the rule that the first player doesn't start with a draw. So
Hmm.
already the second player gets that extra draw. So that'll be relevant. Sweet. Okay. Well, hey, that was the
Yeah,
three sets that I wanted to do today. The next time I do this kind of video, I mean, obviously I can reach out to the people who are here today and like wanted to do this. But I am, where is it? If you go to role requests, it's a thread in a server rule discussion. I'm trying to get a Yu-Gi-Oh role going just so that I can ping people saying, "Hey, I'm about to do the next what's after Magic Ruler? It's is it Pharaon? No. Hold up.
Pharaoh's Serpent,
Is it
maybe?
is it Pharaoh Sorbet? Anyway, hold up.
Might be.
Pack Simulator. The next one will be yeah, Pharaoh's Servant. Okay, Pharaoh's Servant. And I'll also look through oh actually we'll do a quick little bonus segue here, just because I know it's here. Tournament Pack 1, we're already mostly through it. Like
Yeah,
I know about
Mechanical
Mechanical Chaser. As the 18, we were just hoping to pull it. Nobody got one. I think literally all we got were all these really bad vanillas, and one person pulled Goddess with the Third Eye that can substitute for a fusion. But we didn't pull any of the bigger equips. Somebody has a blue medicine. Good for them. It's worse than red medicine. Um, and no one pulled. Okay, I wanted someone to pull Raimei just because it's like again, why is it a worse Hinotama? Like these cards are just anyway. But no one pulled like anything here. No one pulled this thing. No one pulled Axe Raider. Nobody wanted White Hole anyway. But anyway, I didn't want to bring it up because we will check the tournament packs as well. But no one pulled Mechanical Chaser. We're still going to be pulling tournament pack 1 for 1 episode, 2 episodes, because this came out in October, which is after. So after the Magic Ruler, then we'll start pulling from Tournament Pack 2. So the next video that I do, because we've already pulled our Metal Raiders, so the next episode will be us playing Metal Raiders, but because I've already talked about Magic Ruler, I know it's kind of convoluted, but I'll always review the set that's coming out after we've played. That way my friends can look through it and go, okay, this is what I'm going to need to look forward to when I do the pack opening next week. It's kind of like my way of learning it for them and helping them out because they're really busy guys. Like one of them's doing his like doctorate, the other one's got like a super tough job. So they don't have time to like waste like I do because like I'm an elementary teacher. So I just sometimes I get time on the weekends, right? So the next one will be Pharaoh's Servant and Tournament Pack 2. And we were thinking of doing McDonald's promo just because the cards in it are bad and it's just kind of hilarious. And then,
Doesn't McDonald's promo have Sinister Serpent?
okay, well, I'm not
Yeah,
opening.
Cosmo Queen as well.
Okay, hold up. I know I said we'll do it later. Okay, never mind. Yeah, there's these 3,000 normals here. Okay, so maybe that'll be cute.
Okay, it doesn't have what I thought it did. Never mind.
But I do want to say big thanks. Like honestly, I didn't know if anybody was going to show up and if I was going to be talking to myself. So if this is the kind of thing that interests you and you want to be pinged for it in the future, like I said, to get the roll going, I need to have at least 10 people do a thumbs up on it. So if you if you react with pot, it's the teapot, right? Because there wasn't a pot of greed in the role requests thread, which is under server rule discussion. And if we can get that to 10, I'll be able to do like at Yu-Gi-Oh! Hey, about to start the next video. If you want to be a part of it and just chat about the set, come on in. So it means a lot to me. I'll be putting up this video on YouTube in like 10 minutes. I just have to finish making the thumbnail and then wish me luck. I'll be deck building. My one thing is I don't want people telling me like, here, build this deck. We don't mind recommendations looking at our card pools, but we're not going to be asking people to build our decks.
You don't want
So.
to see the I wish I was dead proxy war.
Yeah, essentially. So I'm gonna look at my pool. I think I'm gonna stay pretty defensive, and my opponents will be able to use this video hopefully to look at cards that they should maybe be adding. So a really big thanks everyone, and I'm gonna cut the recording just about here, and I'll wish you all a good night here as I upload it. It means a lot to me that you came out and helped me out with this. So.